Welcome to the show, Efrain. Thank you so much for making time to come and share about yourself here with the Dalitalks podcast and show. Let's dive right in.
Yeah, no, first of all, I just want to thank you for giving me the space to share my story with everybody that is going to be listening. So I am Efrain Reyes. I live here with my wife in Southern California, Orange County. Been together with her for 9 years. Actually, been married for 9 years. Together, we've been 13 years, and we have two beautiful daughters. I have a 5-year-old, and then I have a almost 10-month-old. And a little bit about my history background. I was born in Mexico. My parents are from a state in Mexico called Veracruz. They immigrated to Mexico City to seek a better life, to seek a more opportunity. And that's when me and my brother were born. Throughout my childhood, I spent a lot of time with my mom. My dad, unfortunately, was not around as much. I share this a lot, but he had a alcohol problem or alcohol struggle that prevented him from being involved in our lives, and that really shaped who I am and the man that I have become. And also another significant thing about my childhood was that at the age of 3, I got really sick, almost to the point of passing away. So my mom rushed me to the hospital. She didn't know what was going on. Basically, had a lot of headaches, and I fainted. And throughout different MRIs and things like that, I spent a lot of time in the hospital at that age. Half of my body was kind of paralyzed, so I couldn't really move it. And they found that I had a small tumor in my brain at the age of 3. So
Wow.
after that, I went into these just rehabilitation and trying to regain those movements and stuff like that. And everything kind of came back except my vision on my left eye, and some movements and motor movements that I need for my left eye. So a lot of my childhood was spending time with my mother through different doctor's appointments, MRIs, surgeries that I had to go through, and just trying to figure out how to be more healthy and well. That also shaped part of who I am. And then after that, I immigrated to the US, to Southern California at the age of 10. So then that was a culture shock for me, coming from Mexico to now Southern California, something completely different, new language to learn, new people. So funny because, like, in Mexico, everybody looks the same. We're all like brown, and kind of everybody looks the same. But now I came to the US, and then so much diversity, especially in Southern California. So got to meet people from an Asian background, black back, so different. So it just really expanded my culture, I guess. So that's a little bit about me, and then I'm sure we'll get into a lot more.
Yeah. Wow. That's incredible. I cannot imagine being that parent, listening to that doctor say your 3-year-old has a tumor. That
Yeah.
must have been super scary for your parents, for your mom especially. And I'm glad that everything turned out okay. And I'm glad that you see, you said that it changed you, and I'm assuming, of course, for the better, that you learned a lot of
Mm-hmm.
really good things from that. Now you're working with fathers. So tell me a little bit about what type of work do you do, and what is the mission of for this thing that you're doing?
Yeah, definitely. So before I get to the mission and the work that I do, I want to kind of talk a little bit about how I got there. So, when I graduated, I wanted to be when I graduated with my bachelor's degree, I wanted to be a physical therapist, and I had to get some observation hours to be a physical therapist. And the only place that I got it was a child development center that worked with kids with different disabilities such as autism, Down syndrome, and different disabilities. And I was working through their physical therapy. But within that work, I really got interested on the development of children and just humans in general, right? And it was so beautiful to see these little kids being able to progress, something so small like saying a word or walking for the first time. It just lit me up, and I really got interested on how can I help kids, through behavioral health. So then I got into doing a lot of prevention work with children, school age, teenagers, teaching them about self-concept, bullying awareness, how to solve problems. So just more social emotional learning so that they can have better ways to succeed in life. And that was a lot of my work. And then I found out that I was going to be a dad, about 5 years ago.
Mhm.
And that completely shifted my mind to like, all right, now I need to be a father. And looking at my own childhood, what is that father role that I had? And it was really difficult for me to paint that picture of what a good father does, or what kind of what should I be doing with how can I support my wife, how can I be a good father, how can I be a good provider for my family, how do I show up as a man and as a father. So that really kind of, I contemplated that a lot, and I working in the field, I was able to get some resources, and I found this program very close to my home that was called Dads Matter. So this program was a nonprofit where dads would come, and basically it was a parenting program. Um, and at first, I just went to kind of get some information as a resource for my company, but I decided to be a participant in that program because I believe that as a professional, I should always be willing to learn, right, and go through that process myself before I can guide other fathers and other people. So that program was 16 weeks. So it was a long program. Got to share a lot with other dads. Got to learn more from other fathers. Some fathers were older than me. They were already grandparents. Some fathers were not together with their significant other anymore. So hearing from other fathers and painting that picture of what type of father I wanted to be really helped me move forward in my fatherhood journey, and as a husband and as a son. And it really started like healing that journey as well. So after I participated on that program, I decided to I wanted to facilitate that program because I just wanted to learn more and keep going. And why not get paid while you're learning, right? So I gave my resume to the director, and he ended up calling me, and he started working with me. He offered me a position there, and then I started working there for. I just started working there for about a year, but after that, I wanted to bring this type of service to my community, which is a Latinx community, Latino community, where I feel like it's very needed because the way that we were brought up, right, with a lot of machismo tendencies, patriarchy, and just honestly a lot of trauma from coming from another country, immigrating here. There's has been a lot of fathers that have to leave their families and their home country to come to work here. And then what does that relationship look like with their family? So through that, I became a certified life coach, and through my work, I try to inspire Latino men and fathers of color just to be the best fathers that they can be. And man, this has been quite a journey. I'm at the start of this journey, but very excited for the future and what the future holds for the Latino Dad Connection.
I must say that I feel the same way. I feel very, very hopeful, uh, and very optimistic, especially when I see people like you hosting those spaces for men,
Mm-hmm.
because I know that there are a lot of men out there who want something like this, but because of their background, their teachings, because of society's expectation, and maybe even their own community's expectations, they hold back.
Mm-hmm.
So I know that sometimes they might even like sneak around at first and kind of like dabble until they feel
Mm-hmm.
comfortable to like say, hey, yeah, I joined this men's group. So
Mm-hmm.
let me backtrack just a little bit, because you mentioned so many good things here. First of all, like that group that was offered through this, you said a resource center, is that right?
Yeah, it was a resource center. It was a nonprofit that focused on father involvement in the family.
And I love that. And I want people to know that that's a key thing, because I've worked with a lot of family engagement centers, resource centers as well. And I'm seeing more and more parenting classes and workshops being offered.
Mm-hmm.
Though most of the times I see women attending, but I have
Mm-hmm.
been seeing an increase in men.
Yes.
So it's great. I think it's very key for them to also mention that it sometimes like they might, yeah, it's for them to mention this is for dads. That way
Mm-hmm.
they feel a little more comfortable going to those places. But of course, you have that, and then you have going to people like you.
Mm-hmm.
So that was also really wonderful that you decided to go through the whole thing yourself, because you know that it was a need, and here you are doing it, right? So tell me how did you decide to structure it? Like, what was there somebody there to guide you on how to create this, and tell me a little bit about what was it like when you first launched it?
Yeah, so when I first launched my business, I wanted it to do just life coaching, like whoever, But I worked with the coach myself, and he helped me uncover my purpose through different questions and things like that, and like really asking me like if what is the impact that I want to leave in this world. So that question really resonated with me, and like kind of started thinking about it. And it's like, wow, man. So yeah, what kind of impact? Like, when I leave this world, what do I want people to say about me? What do I want? How do I want to show up and things like that? And really, I found that there's these spaces for men were not that common, right? Especially for us Latinos, especially as for us Latino men. I'm seeing a lot more spaces being open for us, but which is awesome. But when I first started, I didn't know of anybody, that was doing this. So I actually reached out to one of my friends that I knew that he had done some men's work, and I said, "Hey, man, I want to do a men's group. I just want to do it for free. I just want to try it out, see how it goes, and stuff like that." So we ended up doing, some groups for free, just inviting like our compadres to come. Like some had very hesitant, no, I don't want to go. I don't know what this is, what type of things you guys are gonna do. But after a while, I had to learn I had to go through my own journey first. So I had to go through a lot of processing my own traumas with my dad. Had to get a therapist and seek support from other men and stuff like that, because a lot of us men have a father wound, have this broken relationship with our fathers. And to be able to heal that relationship, I believe that we have to be able to connect with other men. It's not something that we can get from women. Like I have a great relationship with my mom, and as much as she can validate that she was there, it has to be another brother, another man that can come and say, "Hey, I got you, man. You're worthy. You are enough. You don't have to prove anything to anybody." And hearing that from a man, to a man, it really kind of shifted my perspective of like, oh wow, like we need this. Like I need this. I need this as a man, as a brother. And sometimes I have a brother actually, but I don't have as close relationship as I wished with him, unfortunately, just because, different reasons, but I still need that support from other men, so I wanted to create this for myself first of all, and then for other men to also experience it.
Yeah. So you mentioned, yeah, the pressures, right? And so one of my questions is because I see so many, so I see so much need, right? And I see
Mm-hmm.
it not just in the men, but sometimes women too, because I feel
Mm-hmm.
like we have been all conditioned to only accept certain behavior from men. So if a man starts expressing their emotions, and the woman might think like, what's going on? What's going on with you?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and sometimes they might even be really cruel and say, gosh, you got to man up, or like, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And sadly, it all happens because we've been conditioned to think a certain way about women and a certain way about men. So
Mm-hmm.
what are some pressures that you remember as a young boy or as a teen that you
Mm-hmm.
wish people would not have put on you?
Yeah, well, that one is a big one. The suppressing emotions, right? Men should not cry. Men should be strong. Men should, whatever happens, you need to keep going. There's a quote that my uncle would say, and it's in Spanish. So it says, "Los hombres no chillan ni aunque tengan las tripas de fuera," or something like that. So
Wow.
meaning that men do not cry even if they have their guts out of their body, and it's just like, what does that mean, like,
Yeah.
really, like, you are what are you telling to this young child, that you should just not express emotions, right? And now that, just going through my journey is learning that expressing our emotions is something so natural, right? And there's different ways to express our emotions. Even anger, which is a emotion that a lot of people might kind of be afraid of, or just not being in touch with, or whatever, like especially within men, they don't want to get to that place. But hey, we have a lot of anger, but we just don't know how to express it in a healthy way, right? Doesn't mean that when you're angry you have to be violent. Doesn't mean that you have to hate your kids or whatever. Angry can also feel passion, right? Anger can also feel direction, and it can also feel purpose. So directing that anger towards like a good cause, it is healthy and helpful, and this is something that I had to learn for myself. Another big one is gender roles within the family, right? What does the man do versus the woman? I grew up where my dad would come home, and my mom had to serve her all the time. Still to this day, my my mom still serves my dad. You know, and I don't think I ever seen my dad wash a dish, like wash his own dish. So it's like, this is what I was like seeing, women catering to men. And maybe it made sense back then, where men had to work in the fields, very laborious jobs, but women also did that too. They take care of the kids, and they had to do a lot of work. But now we are in a society, or in a time, where both men and women work no matter what, and it's great that women are advancing professionally. So as a way to support our women, or our significant others, is we have to help out too, right? With everything, whether it be chores, whether it be taking care of the kids, whatever it might be. And so, like, this idea of that men are not supposed to do certain things around the house, or man, if you do this, you're less of a man. I tell guys, I'm a mandilon. I'm a mandilon, and I'm proud of it. I'm proud of being a mandilon because it helps my family. You know what I'm saying? So when a lot of people in the mostly Mexican community, where they say, like, when you're a mandilon, it's like an insult, right? That you are like basically uh catering to your wife or whatever. And it's like,
It's
yeah, I am.
it's kind of like the version of like, oh, you're whooped, right?
Yes, yes,
Yeah, like,
there you
oh, you're
go.
whooped. Like, why are you doing that for her? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And then I say I'm a proud mandilon because that helps me be a better man. That helps me be a better husband. That helps me be a better dad. So why not do it? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
So
So tell me, you've been very successful with gaining traction in getting men to join your coaching, and I
hmm
love that. And you have pretty large groups, which is really nice.
yeah.
So tell me, what would you say is are some of the objections that you hear from some of the men before they
hmm
end up finally like saying, "Okay, I'm going to join."
Yeah, there's many. A lot of objections is I'm not used to this, right? Like you mentioned, like this is something completely new. They haven't had that brotherhood, the brothership where, men are supporting men. The vulnerability to be able to step into a space where now you're sharing your own story, and has been a lot of men that have suppressed that and maybe don't know how to share their story. I when I work with parents, what happens a lot is, let's say there's a couple, not all the time, but usually like women are the ones that are like talking, and sometimes men like want to say something, and the woman's like, no, pero es así, and they'll keep on talking. So a lot of men have kind of got used to just taking the back seat and just being observant and just chilling. But now I want to create a space where, let's step up and say, like, share your story, share where you come from, who you are, and where you want to go. So that has been one of them. Obviously the mental health stigma, right? That as a man, if I ask for help or ask for support, I'm less of a man, or I'm feminine or whatever. So that has also been a barrier, and I'm just talking for my own self too. This has been barriers for me too. um what else? um those are a few that I can think of off the top of my head, but
Yeah.
there's a few more. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I wanted you to mention these just because if there's a man right now watching or listening, that
hmm
they're not alone. They probably
yeah.
have those same objections and they can overcome them and join you. So
hmm
if somebody wants to join your dad coaching group, where can they learn more about you and sign up?
Yeah, so right now, I have an Instagram, which is Latino Dad Connection, where I post most of my content there. So definitely follow me at there, connect with me. You can send me a message. I'll respond. You can also join my Facebook group, Latino Dad Connection. I have a link to that on my bio on my Instagram. So go ahead and connect through there. I don't have a website yet. That's something that I am going to work on the future. But I wanted just to kind of build that foundation of what I want my business to look like first before I launch this website, so people can get a picture of my purpose and what Latino That Connection stands for. So I'm still, trying to tweak everything and the brand and everything, right? Because there's a process to
Oh
it.
yeah, definitely.
So yeah, please send me a message. So my offering is February 19. I'm not sure if there's going to be still time for that, but I'm doing a couples class or a couples workshop where me and my wife will be in a Zoom call where with 6 other couples, and it's just going to be like a day night to reconnect with each other. And the reason for that is because I believe that as a man, and if you want to be a great father, you first need to have a great relationship with your significant other or with that co-parent that you have. So if you have a marriage or if you have a significant other, that builds that foundation for your children, right? So yes, being a dad is important, but also being a husband and showing up for your wife, it is also important. So if anybody wants to learn more about that, I'm sure will be doing those more in the future. Just send me a text and we'll connect.
I love that. Yeah. So I love that too, that you're focusing just not on the men's mindset and mental health, but the couple too, because I absolutely agree that you have to have that really good relationship with your partner in order to be able to be a great parent. And I think people don't associate those two, and it's incredible how much they're tied to one another. So Efrain, thank you so much. I love this. And I just have one last question. If you could give yourself, say 15-year-old Efrain, some advice, what advice would you tell him?
Oh, man. That's such a great question. And this is something that I struggle with. Honestly, I would just tell him, oh man, I would just tell him that he is enough. He is enough. That's it. That's the only advice that I would tell my 15-year-old self, because I think as a man, and a lot of people just struggle with trying to prove something, right? Trying to prove I'm man enough, or I'm woman enough, or I'm, father enough, husband enough. We are all enough. Obviously, there's a lot of things that we can continue working on in terms of self-growth and being a better parent and being a better individual. But we are enough. One thing that I tell the fathers all the time, you're already a good father. I don't care what your history, you're already a good father. Now, can we be better? Of course, we can be better. We can always grow. But you're already starting in a good place. So yeah, that would be my advice. But yeah, thank you for that question.
You're welcome. Yeah, I agree with you. The fathers who are even thinking about joining a men's group are already a good enough father, because that intention is there, and it shows how dedicated you are to yourself and to being a father. And thank you so much, Efrain, for creating this space for a lot of men. I hope that your groups keep growing and growing, and you'll have to come back next time you have a different thing and tell us all about it.
Of course, yeah. We have a lot of plans in the works, have a lot of ideas. But yeah, we'll take it one step at a time. Right now, my main offering is the men's group, which is an 8-week program for any father that would like to join. And it's called From Good Dad to Más Chingón, dedicating it for all the Latino fathers. Any father is welcome, but just a warning, we are going to speak Spanglish and Spanish, and so it's cool. Let's join us and learn some Spanish with us as well.
I love that. All right, Efrain, thank you so much for being on the show, and have a wonderful day.
Yes, thank you.
I hope that you were able to enjoy my conversation with Efrain. Remember, you can follow him on Instagram at Latino Dad _Connection, and send him a DM if you're interested in any of his coaching offerings, or if you have any questions. If you like this episode, please don't forget to subscribe to our podcast, or if you're watching on YouTube, then follow our YouTube channel. Click that little bell so that you're alerted every time I post a new episode. And if you want to know what is coming up, go to Dalitalks.com and subscribe to the newsletter right now. Thanks so much for listening. I'll see you next time.